Join us live on the Sherry Lord Talk Show podcast. Start your day off with a higher vibrational podcast with weekly guests covering spirituality, healthy foods, and so much more. Go to sherrylord.com for more info.
Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us and watching us every Tuesday at 10 a.m. We know we have amazing guests. We can't wait to bring Zach in just a few minutes. But if you want to place an ad with us, and we do a great job of promoting you, go to www.sherrylord.com. And I want to say welcome to Zach Weisbarth. Thank you for being with us. You are amazing. And he's from my old stomping grounds in Traverse City many, many years ago. And he did one of our events. And I tell you, he stood out. He really stood out because when he did the astrology and he grounded it into the physical, his style was so unique and so helpful. You could not take your eyes off of him. You wanted to hear everything he said. He is amazing. He's an expert at what he does. And he's from the heart and he's definitely on a spiritual path. Welcome, Zach. Thank you for being on our show.
Hi, Sherry. Thank you. You're too kind.
Oh no, I mean, I really went. He did one of my events I had on there, and it was the first time I ever watched him, and he really held the audience. And the way he explains astrology, that he grounds it into how to practically use it, how to be practical in your life with it, and I love that. And my question is, what drew you to astrology? And what are the moments that really stood out that really said, this is what I want to do? Can you tell people a little bit about yourself and how this all unfolded for you?
Sure. I think probably one of the first times I really got engaged with astrology, funnily enough, was being at the Chinese buffet with my
Oh,
grandma, my mom's mom. She loved going to the Chinese buffet in Saginaw, and they had the placemat with the Chinese astrological signs on it. And I was just fascinated by the characters, the figures of the Chinese zodiac, reading the little descriptions. I remember being fascinated with it enough to want to take the placemat home, make
oh,
sure
wow.
and take a copy of it
Oh,
home just so I could look at it. And I remember sitting in my bedroom one night looking at the placemat and down at the bottoms of each one of the Chinese astrological sign
mhm.
descriptions, it would tell you, which sign you might be compatible with, which sign maybe would be a little bit more of a difficult
Oh, wow.
conversation or relationship with, and recognizing that there was a pattern that you could count between each sign and find which one was considered a match and which one was considered a difficulty. So that's one of the first moments. The pattern recognition drew me to it. The figures, the dragon, the snake,
Right.
the rooster, the descriptions of the personality. It really captured my imagination. I at that age and at that time, it didn't go any further for me. But I feel like when I was in my early 20s, when you go off to college, you leave high school, you leave your home, your
Yeah.
friends, your family, behind. You're offered an opportunity to do a lot of self-discovery and self-exploration. And astrology for me was one of those things that came along that assisted me along the way of
Oh,
self.
wow.
I've always loved that, that know thyself, tagline that
Yeah.
say, you see it in the Matrix when Neo
Yep.
is in the Oracle's house, it's hanging above the doorway. That's what astrology, did for me was offer some wisdom. Yeah, I always think of it as almost like a map. It gives
Wow.
you a roadmap, and it doesn't exactly tell you what you need to see or exactly where you need to go, but it points you in directions and it offers you inspiration and new ways of looking at yourself, of looking at the world. It actually almost for me, it gave me a language to start communicating with
Yeah.
myself, with other people, and with the world at large. So I just found it's been an extremely useful tool for self discovery and also to relating to others and to understanding the narrative that the universe runs on. You know, all those things have been a great inspiration for me in my life, and that's why I like to share it with other people.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really awesome. Before we came on, we were talking about how it grounds people in your style and the way that you do that. Um, what are some of the tools or gifts, or what's happening now in the world? What's happening now with astrology that people can help ease their life in one way or some way?
Yeah,
What are the changes? Yeah.
there's a couple different things. You know, right now, we're in a Jupiter and Cancer year.
Ah,
That motion
okay.
just happened back in June. Jupiter entered Cancer. Jupiter's basically on a 12-year cycle. It
Okay.
makes about a year pass through every sign of the zodiac. So Jupiter coming into Cancer this year lines up with the Chinese New Year of the Snake.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Jupiter is referenced as the year star. Now, practically in a more grounded way, you know, we have to start thinking about, well, Jupiter being the great benefic, or one of the most beneficial planets of the zodiac, something wherever it's located, it's going to, excuse me, add blessings to life, to that area of life. It's going to expand a certain area of your life. You know, if we think about Cancer, you know, first and foremost, Cancer is the sign that sustains life.
Yeah.
Okay, it's the great
Hmm.
mothering sign, it's the divine nurturing sign.
Wow.
So, with Jupiter and Cancer this year, we're looking at an expansion or growth in the area of abundance that sustains life, that sustains your life, that sustains our lives. So what I've been thinking about since June, since this motion happened, this planetary motion, is what are the things that I can attend to that will help solidify the abundance in my life so that it's sustained. And one of the things I got from one of my teachers, the great Gordon White, host of the Rune Soup podcast and website, I can't recommend it enough,
Okay.
is that there's also angels associated with all of the planets. And the angel associated with the planet Jupiter is the archangel Sachiel.
Oh, wow.
And you know, so one of the things you can start to do to incorporate that beneficial Jupiterian energy in your life is to start working with that angelic energy of Sachiel. And you know, furthermore, you know, more tips for people to start working with that energy is to learn about Sakiel, learn about the
Yeah.
angel of abundance,
Hmm.
and what it offers, and what he likes, and start to communicate with that planet and that angel through ceremony, through meditation and prayer.
Hmm.
And so now to get more practical, while each one of the days of the week is associated with a planet. So Thursday is the planet of Jupiter. Furthermore, every day has planetary hours. So on Thursday, the day of Jupiter, there's going to be at sunrise around 6 a.m. right now, where I'm located in Traverse City, is going to be the planetary hour of Jupiter. So if you're looking to further establish the abundance that sustains your life, uh, entering meditation or prayer at the hour of Jupiter on the day of Jupiter,
Okay.
seeking the blessings of Jupiter and Cancer and the Archangel Sachiel. These are all things to think about doing, you know, to help enrich your life for
Wow.
this coming year while Jupiter's located in that sign.
Wow, that is huge. That is a wealth of awesome information. I've always liked Jupiter, and I didn't know why, but now I do.
Yeah, yeah.
I always seem to have Jupiter and Saturn going on for some reason, but it's all good.
I mean, if you really, you know, you could really have a lot of fun with it in a lot of mundane ways. I mean, just knowing the planetary days and what
Oh, wow.
colors are associated with those planets, and
Oh,
incorporating
wow.
those colors into your clothing, into your jewelry, into your accessories, maybe even the crystals and stones you're carrying, or something like that. Even the days you're planning to do things, knowing which planet rules that day helps organize your calendar in an astrologically oriented way, helping you slip into
Okay.
the stream of consciousness, that's ordered universally through the planetary energies. I mean, that's just one way to do it. I mean, I've even been begun to try to coordinate the clothing I'm wearing just according to the planetary days. I'm a little out today. Today is Tuesday. That would be ruled by Mars. I should be wearing red right now, and I have black on. But even knowing which planetary energy rules a day, what colors
Oh,
are
wow.
associated with it, helps you to get connected to the cosmos in a really unique way, and helps you organize your calendar in a profound and unique way. So, again, on that Thursday, at the hour of Jupiter, on the day of Jupiter, if you're making an offering, a prayer, to Cancer and Jupiter, trying to find a way to access that beneficial energy, flowers in the color of
Oh,
blue or
wow.
purple, an offering in the color of gold. These
Right.
would be the colors associated with the planet Jupiter. It really enriches and helps organize your spiritual life, getting into flow with the cosmic energies and having an awareness of it. The other thing that really came through for me this year, thinking about Cancer and Jupiter, and how to sustain that abundance, and energies to work with, I came to understand that the abalone shell is a great energy to be
Oh,
working with. You can find it in crystal shops. Obviously, it's not
yeah.
a quote unquote crystal, it's actually a shell. But working with abalone energy is working with the abundance of the sea, right? There's a reason our civilizations are located at the water's edge, because the sea is a place of abundance. It's a place you can find food, it's a way to travel. And so abalone has traditionally been seen as a part of the abundance of the sea. It's worked as food for people. And then the
Oh,
shell
wow.
has been used for sage and smudge containers, offering bowls. So think about working with that abalone energy.
Wow.
Maybe making that a part of your prayer meditation on those Thursdays. That's something that I would consider incorporating into your life as well. It's something I've been doing.
I think that is wonderful. I mean, our audience are just going to love this. I know I am. I'm soaking it up because it helps me understand why I wear certain clothes sometimes intuitively, and
Yeah.
certain things throughout that day. It's like I'm being guided to put this on, put that back, and so I can see the correlation with that, not realizing that. But it's also good to be aware of it so that you can orchestrate it. That's what you're saying for your days or your weeks or what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, even, so you've got, a day you need to set aside for important communications, or some sort of, business transaction. Well, you want to align yourself most likely with the planet Mercury. That planet is associated with the day Wednesday.
Okay.
Just having those little awarenesses in the back of your mind, it's like, okay, what time am I going to set aside to answer all of the correspondence that I need to answer, to write that important email, or make that important phone call, or sign that contract, or make that business deal? Okay, well, why not juice it up a little bit, and instead of picking a
Hmm.
random day whenever it falls, you pick Wednesday, and you think, Mercury, if you have any a little bit of additional energy, a luck, magic you can infuse into my life, then here I go, doing it on your day on Wednesday.
That's good advice. Very, very, very good advice. This is wonderful. I never really thought about the colors with the planets.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was fascinating. The other thing I have a question, you talk about, you work with the 12 characters of the zodiac. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I think this is sort of a throwback to Jungian psychology in a way, a place where astrology, found a lot of wisdom and hung out for a while was in the Jungian sort of archetypal psychological realm.
Yeah.
What I really like about it, well, you got to take it all the way back to
Yeah.
our ancestors, back when
Oh,
the night sky was the best show in town. You didn't
yeah,
have a television to turn
yeah,
on. You hung out under the stars with your
yeah.
friends and you burnt some incense and you looked up at the big show. And you started to tell stories. There's an interplay between your consciousness and the consciousness of the cosmos. And as you were looking up there, you were inspired. You started to tell stories that contained a lot of wisdom about how to live life the right way.
Right.
And from there, we start to get our astrological characters. From there, our grand narrative begins to be told. And it is a co-creative process. It's the planetary energies and the stars and the cosmos and that intelligence interacting with our own. And so if you begin to look at one of each of the astrological signs as a character in the grand narrative, you begin to gain a deeper understanding of what each one of these signs represents and also
Wow.
the important information that it's starting to communicate to you. If we're again talking about Cancer, Jupiter being there right now,
Mm.
if we begin
Yeah,
to understand the characters like the Kuan Yins or the Mother Marys, the
yeah,
divine nurturing forces that we find in our important religious and spiritual stories, we can begin to get at the core of what that's all about. What does it really take to nurture something, to
wow.
sustain and care for a life that needs our attention? Because when all life begins, whether that's a child or whether that's a business, a creative idea, it's fragile and it's defenseless, and it needs our care and our attention and our love. And so each one of those characters of the zodiac is going to ultimately be represented by some core guiding principle that we can incorporate into our life, a character that we can find in all of our stories throughout the world,
Wow.
throughout history, and even in the present. And you begin to make connections. You begin to see how they all connect cross culturally and historically. And the thing is not only do you get to learn about how those things express themselves in all of our lives and how they've done it on a collective stage, but then you
Mhm.
begin to see those internal forces that exist within you as well. Whether or not Cancer or Gemini or Leo or
Okay.
Libra or any one of the 12 astrological signs is well represented in your chart by a planetary placement or not, each one of those characters in some capacity exists within you, and you can make a connection to them, and you probably should be making a connection to them, to help enrich and round out your character in your life in some way. So
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. You have so much knowledge with this and very wonderful information, but I love the practicality. It's practical, and the way you put it in life for people to be able to understand. They don't have to know all about the astrology. They can take those pieces that you taught them and what people are listening, and they can learn more, but that's how they can utilize it in their daily life. I think this is wonderful. It's really opened my eyes to astrology in a different way, and to look at it in a different perception, which is really, really good.
yeah.
My question to you is, you have what is a natal chart in astrology? I hear people talk about a natal chart. Not everybody understands it. How does it
Yeah.
affect the daily, or does it?
Yeah, well, so your natal chart or your birth chart, this isn't 100% true, but this is how I usually
Okay.
explain to people who are approaching it for the first time. It's like a snapshot of the night sky the moment that you were born.
Okay.
That's that roadmap I was alluding to at the beginning of the
Oh, wow.
conversation.
Okay.
You know, it shows you where the planetary energies were located the moment
Okay.
you were born, you know, which houses they were in, the conversations that they're having through angular relationships made in the chart. And that chart stays with you throughout your entire lifetime. There are ways of getting a peek into where the energies are showing up for you presently,
Mm,
but that original natal or birth chart is always going to be influential in your life in some way from an astrological perspective. So, you know, there are ways to work with it daily, there's ways to work with it yearly, there's ways to work with it in larger cycles like this 12-year Jupiter cycle that I was talking about earlier. You know, natally, I have Cancer or Jupiter in Cancer when I
okay.
was born. So this makes it a Jupiter return year for me. Those sorts of
Mhm.
longer cycles are present in people's charts as well. You know,
Mm.
the most famous one probably being the Saturn return, something that usually
Oh,
happens around the ages of 27 to 30. You know, can be a really useful planetary cycle for somebody to have an awareness of as they're moving through it, because it's going to present us with
wow.
challenges as well as opportunities for growth from astrological adolescence into
Okay.
astrological maturity.
Wow. What if you don't, on your birth chart, not everybody has a birth time. Does that really matter? Because I don't have a birth time from the time I was born. It was not on my soul knows, we know. But does that really matter? Do you necessarily have to have a birth chart? I mean, it's good to have the date of time of birth, but is it necessary? Can you still do it, the astrology?
The answer to that is yes and no.
Okay.
You know, any astrologer would always prefer to have your exact
Right.
birth time.
Yes.
You know, the biggest reason for that, one of the big reasons for that is the ascendant or the rising sign in
Okay.
somebody's chart. That's going to change every 2 hours throughout the day. So,
Oh, wow.
say, well, what's your sun sign, Sherry? Do you know what's your sign?
No, I was born on January 30th, 1961. I don't know what my sign is.
Okay, well, all right, we'll use this for an example. So, my sun sign is Libra. Okay.
Okay, good.
Now, everybody is who was born on October 16th is going to have the sun in Libra. Okay.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but um, my rising sign is Scorpio because I was born
Ooh,
at 8:59 a.m. So the rising sign is going to change every 2 hours throughout the day. So although I was born with Scorpio rising,
okay.
somebody born 2 hours later after I was is going to have a completely different rising sign.
Oh, wow.
Now, they're going to still have the same sun sign like I did, like Libra, but that rising sign is going to change, and it's also going to shift and change where the planets are located in the houses. And that rising sign for astrologers, for many astrologers, is one of the most important parts of the chart because it's highly individuated. What
Okay.
is going to separate me from everybody else that born the same day that I was, October 16th, one
Okay.
of those pieces is going to be the rising sign. So you can see how it individuates my chart from other people's
Ah,
charts, right? Born that
okay.
so if we don't have the exact time, we're not going to have that rising time. Now, rising sign time. Now, there are techniques for trying to discover the rising sign without
Mm,
the exact birth time. That's not a technique or ability that I have at this moment,
yeah.
but there are astrologers out there who endeavor to do that.
Yeah.
Um, what's fortunate for us, though, is even without an exact birth time, we still get plenty of information uh, from just having the birth date, year, and location, that's going to be useful. It's still going to be
Okay.
useful. It's still going to be revealing. It's just not going to be as exact as most astrologers would prefer.
Okay. Wow, that was really insightful. Thank you. What can you're the owner of the Higher Self bookstore, and a
Yeah,
lot of our people that watch us, a lot of them are familiar with it, but there's a lot who are not. Can you explain a little bit about how that unfolded, what you offer? I know what I've heard from friends that you've expanded to another, it's bigger now than where it was.
correct.
And can you tell people where it's located, how they can get a hold of you? Are you offering sessions for people? Can they call you? Can they get a video? Can they see you in person?
Sure, yeah. So,
Mhm.
Higher Self Bookstore has been in Traverse City for 40 years now.
Yeah,
If I
long
have it
time.
right, I believe
Yeah,
my wife and I, Andrea, are
yeah,
the fifth custodians or owners of the store,
yes,
the fifth set of keepers.
yeah,
We're thrilled and blessed to be a part of Higher Self's story,
yeah,
because the store's story is, it's bigger than the ownership.
yeah,
It has a spiritual reality of its own.
yeah,
So we get to be keepers with it. We get to co-create with the higher self. We're happy to do it. We did just recently expand. Back in October, we opened up a second half of the store, which technically has its own
yeah.
entrance, but both sides of the store are connected by a hallway. We've been working on adding a lounge and cafe area as a part of the offering of the
Oh,
store, place where community can, connect and meet, and spend time. Working on coffee, working on tea, herbal tea, as well as caffeinated black teas and green teas. Having an apothecary sort of offering as well, with bulk herbs, tinctures, sage and smudge, in a lounge area with some seating. The rest of the store is filled with books, with crystals and
yeah,
jewelry,
yep,
incense, a lot of different things that are tools that people use for their spiritual and religious practices. The store is all inclusive and non-exclusive. It's really there to honor, the many beneficial spiritual pathways that people may be on. We want to
yeah,
be a resource for people who are seeking, for people who have a hunger for spirituality and philosophy and self-discovery, community and
yeah,
healing. We have a lot of great service providers at the store, offering different services,
yeah,
and energy healing
yeah,
areas, as well as psychic or divinatory areas like the tarot or
yeah,
astrology. So we have a great community of a great collection of folks, including the service providers, the staff,
yeah,
our customers, our vendors. We have a really great collection of folks, and a great community that we're blessed to be a part of, and we're
yeah,
continuing to build and bring more and more people into the fold. We are located
yeah,
313 East Front Street. It's right downtown Traverse City, directly across from the parking garage. We have a website, higherselfbookstore.com. We have an email, higherselfbookstore@gmail. We have a Facebook, Higher Self
yeah.
Bookstore, there as well. I believe we have an Instagram. Don't ask me about that. I'm pretty much hands off as far as social media goes. Um, you can reach us by the phone. You can book
Yeah.
through the website. I'm available. There's somebody available, at
Mhm.
least one person, most of the times two or three people available at the store for some type of service, every day of the week. We host classes and events as
Yep.
well. Part of our expansion was building out a new classroom that has a great view overlooking the Boardman River and, the bay here in Traverse City.
Yep.
So that's the store in a gist.
Awesome. This is great. Yes, I started there over 25 years ago, and I was guided there looking for an angel book, and my life changed when I walked in that door. So yeah, it's got its history, and it's
And
got
you
the energy there.
and
Yeah.
you've got a class coming up at the store, and you're going to be there for readings as well here in August.
Yeah, I'm going to be there
The
one day, August 9th. I'll be there
ninth.
August 9th, one day doing readings. I'm also going to be teaching how to release old behavioral patterns from the Freedom Program. And also, come and say hi to Zach. Come and say hi to me when I'm there. Come get a selfie, do a high five. We'd love to see you there. It's an amazing store that's been there. It has a beautiful energy, and you're just drawn. Your vibration is so much raised when you walk in that door. The people there and all their staff is amazing. They're really good people, really on a path, and they're from the heart. Thank you, Zach, for being on our show. And we'll have you back again. You're just amazing, a wealth of information. And we just want to say thank you to all our audiences and blessing you on your journey. We'll see you again next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Go to www.sherrylord.com for upcoming events. And you can also get information and click on their website to the higher self. If you missed it, just click on that. See you later, and blessing all who watched us, and thank you for liking us and sharing our journey too, to help others to connect and to get a wealth of information and to expand, grow, and evolve on your own spiritual path. Thank you again, Zach.
Thank you so much, Sherry. Thanks to everybody watching. We'll see you soon. Many blessings.